Hey everyone, John Tharp coming to you from Iowa. Today's March 5th. Out doing some shed antler hunting and scouting for the upcoming 2022 deer season. I'm going to do some prep work with some Lucky Buck product. Bernie Behringer is expected to draw his 2022 coveted Iowa archery tag, so I'm going to begin doing some prep work in expectation that Bernie's going to be hunting here this fall and maybe utilizing some of this setup and bringing that to you later on in the year.
It's always exciting when I get a shipment of Huntworth clothing. And this is a new Huntworth Heat Boost, which is some really exciting stuff. It's graphene technology. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm getting ready to leave on two of my really exciting hunts that I've been looking forward to for a long time. I haven't drawn an Iowa archery deer tag since 2017, and I haven't hunted in Kansas archery during the rut since 2019. So I'm pretty excited about both of these this year. I'm going to be down there for the first 2 weeks of November, and I'm going to be rut hunting with a bow in some of the premier whitetail habitat in the world, I think, in both Iowa and Kansas. And if you followed this channel for very long, you know that I'm a public land do-it-yourself hunter. Most of my life I've done that, 30-some public land road trips, but this year is going to be different because I got a couple friends that are allowing me to hunt private land. And my buddy John is a deputy sheriff down in southeast Iowa. He is in a really good area, and his family has some good ground. And I've got a couple of cell cameras down there right now. I've also sent him a couple of other cameras, and we are getting some pictures of some tremendous bucks. There's a lot of shooter bucks that we're seeing on camera, and a couple of real giants, as you can see by these pictures that I'm showing you right now. I mean, it would just be a dream to have a chance at one of these. It's, of course, a long shot for deer like that, but they're there. And so I'll be hunting for about a week or so in Iowa, and I'll be doing a vlog, multiple videos on that. Then from there I go to Kansas. I'll be hunting private land there too, so I'll tell you more about that when I start the Kansas vlog. But I'll be camping in my trailer, which I'm going to park on John's property, and all I got to do is plug it into water and electric, and I'll just take a minute to give you a quick tour of that camper. I bought this camper about 4 years ago at a salvage auction, and I've taken it on a few hunts before. And believe it or not, this camper was totaled because it had hail damage. And I mean, you really have to look for it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one side has quite a few little hail dents. And that is why I bought it at this salvage auction for about half of what it's worth today. But let's go through, and we'll give you a quick tour of the inside. Of course, like any camper, it's fully self-contained, and it's just a small camper that my wife and I use for vacations out west. We've been to Glacier National Park and Yellowstone and Tetons and a lot of different places with it. As you can see, I got to put everything in the sink when we travel because otherwise it'll all be on the floor. And I'm just here getting it ready to go. But it's comfortable and roomy, especially for one person. And I do most of my own cooking. I really prefer to cook myself because I just don't like fast food, first of all, and restaurants just get pretty darn expensive and really add up. So just basic, everything you need here. Shower, and fully self-contained. All I gotta do is hook it up to water and electric, and we're good to go. and I can use 12-volt power and the water tank that I have if I need to. But as you can see, I'm pretty well stocked up here. Getting ready to leave, and this will be a comfortable home for me for a couple of weeks. So that's about how this is going to work. I've been packing my truck with tree stands and decoys and that type of thing, all the stuff that I typically take with me on these rut hunts, and it's always really exciting. But I should give you a little more information on this heat boost technology that is something new from Huntworth. And they have, here's a really nice coat. They got a layering system, and man, this is pretty exciting, opening all this stuff up with this heat boost in it. Well, this is a vest. Look at that. So the heat boost technology is different than anything else because it's graphene that's actually in the insulation. And Huntworth is cool because they've got all these different, it's a layering system that you just add to or take off depending on what the weather's like, and you know, if it cools off whether you're in the stand or you know you've got things that you want to pull on once you get to the stand and so forth. It's all just super really well thought out. I love the camo. I love the way the pieces fit. They're pretty generous cut, and but the graphene is actually in the insulation, so it doesn't add another layer to the bulk of the clothing, and the clothing is quiet. It resists burrs and stickers and things like that, and it's just it's really good stuff. And I'm going to be giving it a test here. They're sending me all this stuff to test and comment on. Oh, here's another one of these pants. I love these pants. I like wear these pants all the time. Those don't have the graphene in it, but they're actually the pants I'm wearing right now. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to be doing the a vlog here. You know, try to get a vlog out every 2 to 3 days. If I can't get internet regularly while I'm there, you know, then I'll have to do more towards the end. Okay, here's the parka. So if you want really high quality hunting clothing that won't break the bank, because it's definitely better than the top end camos like Sitka and Kuiu, or however you say it, that just cost a ton. And then this heat boost technology with the graphene, it's just brand new, and believe me, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it because it is amazing stuff. And just what little testing I've done on it, they sent me some last year in the winter before they actually introduced it to test it, and I tested it out in really cold weather and was super impressed with it. So I'm really jacked up about trying some of this new stuff. Yeah, I mean, they think of everything. This is, you got a pocket right there. You got a nice, you got one, oh, that's going to be really warm. It's going to have a great place for hand warmers too. So anyway, that's it for this first vlog, and more stuff coming. As you can see, I got trail camera pictures of a lot of good bucks, and I can't wait to get down there and start hunting. So we'll see you on the next video. All right, I've arrived here in southeast Iowa. I'm just getting my camper set up, and I talked to John on the phone. He's on his way over here. I'm at his house. He's got too much going on tonight. I said, hey, I'll just drive around, glass some areas. That's what I typically do when I'm hunting public land. And he said, well, if you want to hunt one of my stands, I'll put you in a stand. So I'm going to get everything unhooked here and then talk to him, and we're gonna hunt tonight, the first night. I left at 6 o'clock this morning. It is currently just before 3 o'clock, and might as well go get in the stand. So we'll get everything set up here and get changed as soon as he gets here, and then we'll head out this evening. And it's October 31st, and I'm hunting in southeast Iowa. It's warm today, 60, maybe 65 degrees, but I am headed to the stand. For a short hunt, because I'm getting in a little bit late, but I sent some trail cameras down here, and I got some pictures of some pretty nice bucks back in here. And this is some private land owned by the in-laws of my buddy John, and I got permission to hunt in here. So I'm gonna go get in the tree stand. It feels so good to be out hunting whitetails. It's been a year, and I can't wait to get in the stand. They're not very spooked. Fortunately, my wind is blowing right at them, unfortunately. Man, I just spooked a whole herd of deer out of there. My wind is blowing right down in there. Well, I'm in a tree. I'm just getting set up here. I've only got about an hour and a half until dark, but unfortunately, I spooked a bunch of deer on the way in here too. They were in the south end of this little wood lot, and the wind swirled around and blew them completely out of there. There was, I think, about maybe 8 does, 7 or 8 does. If there was any bucks with them, they didn't come out and run across the field like the does did. But anyway, this is one of John's stand, and I've got everything pretty well set up. He said he hasn't hunted it all year, and unfortunately there's not much for shooting lanes. It's really kind of grown up since he hunted it last. So I'm gonna have to, I didn't bring a saw or anything, so I'm gonna have to take a knife and kind of trim stuff up just a little bit so I have some shooting lanes out to the field. I got a good lane this way and one that way to my right. But anyway, it's just a very pleasant evening to be in the stand. There's no pressure on me. I wasn't even expecting to hunt tonight, so we'll see what happens, see if those does come back out in this clover to feed, and see if there's any bucks around. October 31st, tomorrow's the first day of November, so the bucks should be getting pretty spunky. All right, let's settle in and see what happens here. sure interested in whatever's down in that other little fence row down there. He just can't stop staring down there. I should try to call him or what? That's a shooter. Even on the first day. Nice 8-pointer. There he comes. He's at about 60 right now. I might actually get a shot at him. He's coming right towards me. I gotta put the camera down and get my bow. I gotta decide, am I gonna try to shoot him or am I gonna film him? It's really something to see a deer like that in the first hour of the hunt. It's a really nice 8-pointer. I definitely would have shot him. I had him broadside at about 45 to 50 yards, but I just didn't feel comfortable with the shot. It just was such a small opening. But I got about, I don't know, 20 minutes of legal shooting light left here. I might try to get out a little early and get out of here without lights. He had a doe with him, and the doe was on the other side of the hills. He kept looking at her, and I couldn't figure out what he was looking at. Well, then she came to the top of the hill, and I realized that that's what it was. He was not going to leave that doe. After I shut the camera off, I snort wheezed and grunted a couple times, at which he looked at me, but he just wasn't coming. I'm going to leave all my stuff in the stand here and just come back in the morning. And I'm going to bring a saw. So right at daylight, as soon as I can see, I am going to cut a couple of shooting lanes from the tree here. I can cut some limbs right from the tree here. And we'll try this spot again in the morning. Pretty exciting stuff. Wow. Not bad for the first couple of hours of deer hunting in Iowa. Just legal shooting time here. A little after 7. And I did a little trimming in front of me here, although I can't reach some of the stuff that's really in the way. I need a little bit longer saw. But I didn't spook any deer on the way in, which is different because yesterday I spooked deer on the way in and deer on the way out. There was a bunch of deer up on top of the hill where I had to walk, including that big 8-pointer. But they didn't spook bad. None of them snorted. And so I'm back in here this morning, and we'll see what happens through the morning here. And then make a decision during midday about what I'm going to do for the evening. I don't know if I want to hunt this stand 3 times in a row, but it sure is a lot of deer in here. And man, that buck that was in front of me last night at 40 yards, I just couldn't quite get a shot at him, but I'm going to try to get a shot today if he is in the area again. Beautiful, cool morning here, 38 degrees. All right, I'm heading out for the evening hunt. As you saw this morning, I saw a couple of does and a spike buck. If you look in the distance there, you can see that there is hog confinement buildings. And if you've been watching, then you know that there is a giant buck that we got pictures of right in this area. And here, look at this. Up. Scrape dripper. I don't know what happened there, but it's laying on the ground. So I'm gonna reset this before I go to the stand. And where I'm hunting is down that way, about 150 yards. Gosh, this thing is trashed. Oh my gosh. It is completely trashed. I think it's been run over. It's not going to work. I'm just going to pour some of this special golden estrus in the scrape. Take the rest with me. Right, I'm going to hang this trail camera. Right there. Alright, we are good to go. Alright, I'm settled in here. 350. So that's good. I got in here in good time. And so what I've got a CRP out in front of me here. I got a good mixed hardwood woodlots behind me, pretty much all around me, except that there it looks to be alfalfa in a field over on the neighbors. I can see it through the trees over there. And the deer have been coming out this corner and working their way up in through here. There's some clover in with this CRP. So we're going to settle in here, see what happens. There is a big buck in this area. Man, he's a giant. And wouldn't it be something to see him? We can only hope. Well, it's just breaking daylight here on November 2nd. I had a change of plans because the spot that I was planning to go to this morning, it's just not good in a southeast wind, and that's what we got this morning, southeast. So I came back into this stand that I hunted last night. I saw quite a few deer last night, probably 8 or 10. So I've been seeing deer on every sit, just waiting for the right one to come along. And I just had one doe go through here, and it's just been legal shooting light here for about 5 or 7 minutes. So that's the only deer I've seen so far, but man, it's just a beautiful morning to be in the woods. We'll see what happens here for the next 3 hours or so, and then I'm going to go scout a couple other areas after I get out, probably about 10:30 this morning. got a camera in the tree right there. The tree stand is right. Let's see if I can scrape. I'm going to put the rest of this put the golden estrus in the scrape here just because I got a bottle of it, and we used about half of it. The idea is that the deer will stop in a scrape long enough for me to get a shot, because the scrape that's right over there right in front of the camera is blocked by this cedar tree right here. So I'm trying to position the deer right where I can shoot. Alright, let's get in the stand. Alright, let's give you a look around. That's all CRP out there. That's to the east. The wind is out of the south, and that's the south, which is the direction I'm expecting the deer to come from. They're bedding back in there. And then, now you're looking west. That's the scrape that I just anointed with fresh Bernie urine and special golden estrus. And to the north of me, where these deer are going, there's a pond where I got a camera at it, and then from there they go out into the fields to feed. Okay. Look, this ain't Hollywood. So this is my third evening hunting. I've hunted 2 mornings and 3 evenings, and the first 2 mornings and evenings I've seen deer from every one of them. I've seen shooter bucks on all but one. That first evening had a really close call with that tremendously nice buck that I would love to shoot, but it wasn't meant to be, and I will probably go back to that spot. I'm letting it rest right now, but I'll probably go back to that spot if I don't kill a buck in the next couple days. Now today, I went out scouting some new areas. I got a stand, it's John's stand, in a cedar tree that I'm going to hunt in the morning if I don't kill a buck tonight. And then I decided to walk down to check out another stand he was telling me about. And when I got about halfway down there, I looked up and there's several bucks in this little opening right in front of the stand, and they are just walking around, kind of posturing a little bit, working a scrape. And they're all 3 rack bucks. One of them looked pretty mature. He's a pretty heavy-bodied deer. I was just going to go check where the stand was and put a pin on it just so I could find it in the dark, and dang it, I didn't take a binoculars or video camera or anything. All I took was my phone, and so I tried to video some with my phone. It's not very good video, but you can actually see all 3 bucks. So anyway, that's the area that I'm going to be hunting in the morning. So this, if I don't shoot a deer tonight, this is going to be the end of vlog number 2. And then I'll start up vlog number 3 with the remainder of this evening, and then in the morning. A lot going on. I'm seeing a lot of deer. It's 78 degrees according to my truck. That's pretty unfortunate that the weather's like this, but fortunately we got a good breeze to help keep things cool. If I have to shoot at that scrape right there, I'm gonna have to shoot sitting down because of this branch right here, and I'm not gonna cut it at the moment. Okay, deer could be coming, so we'll see you on the next vlog. Stay tuned for it. It's breaking daylight here on November 3rd, and I got out here to where I was going to hunt and found out that I couldn't get in the tree stand. It was in the dark, and I just tried to get in, but the way the cedar branches are set up, I would have had to kind of push and pull and kind of swing myself off into the stand, and I just wasn't willing to do that in the dark with a 20-25 pound pack on my back with all my camera gear and everything. And 10 years ago I would have just done it without even giving it a second thought, but it's just too dangerous. And my truck is that way, 450 yards as the crow flies, which over the curves is probably at least 600 or more. But I'm just gonna sit down here below the cedar trees, and right down that way the deer are jumping the fence and working their way south down there. So I'm hoping to be able to potentially shoot one on the ground, and I don't have any way really to set up a camera, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to give it an hour and a half here, and then I'm going to go back down to where I saw those 3 bucks yesterday, and there's a stand down there. I need to find that stand and put a pin on it so I can get in there in the dark. I may hunt there this evening too. So anyway, we're just kneeling on the ground here, and if a deer comes by, it's going to be close. Well, this gig is up. The buck is up there. He's got 2 does with him up there. And then this girl just come running right down through the hollow. I'm trying to get in a stand. Hey, how about if you just move on? Uh-oh, here comes a wind swirl. This should do it. All right, I got in here, found the stand, but I really blew it up in here. Wow, what a fiasco of a morning. So as I was coming up in here, I saw a buck and a couple of does, and I saw them before they saw me. Same as yesterday, like right where I'm standing here now, there was 3 bucks yesterday. When I came up in here, I was going to try to find this stand and put a pin on it. Well, I saw this buck and does, and I was sitting there filming them thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to get by them. What are my options here? And then all of a sudden another doe just ran right up on me, and she ran like she was being chased by a buck. And she came right up on me, and the gig was up at that time, so she snorted and ran off. I never did see the buck that was chasing her, although as I started to move on up in here, I did see another, probably a 2-year-old, like a 100-inch, 110-inch buck, and more does up in here. So anyway, I put a pin on the stand right there. It's a huge oak tree, and there's no point in staying in here now. After I blew it up like I did, there was more does snorting by the time I actually got up in here. So I'm gonna head back. The truck is that way, and that's the way I came in, but there's not much point in getting in the stand right now. It's a pretty cool spot in here, and obviously the deer sure like it, so I have got to go through that. This is rough country. I'm gonna head down that way and head back to the truck, get some breakfast, and then come back out here in the afternoon. I'm in early. It's about 2 o'clock, and I'm in this big oak tree where I've been seeing all those bucks and does chasing the last 2 days. It's hot again and windy, strong south wind, but it's really swirling. And I decided to just spend the afternoon in here because there's no sense sitting in the camper when the deer are moving all day now. The cameras on the scrapes have started to dry up. So there's quite a bit of chasing going on. November 3rd. Man, I'm way up here. I got to take a rangefinder and check some of this stuff down here, but John said he hasn't hunted this stand for a couple of years, and it's pretty well grown up in front of it, and I don't have a way to cut shooting lanes with me, which I wish I did. I'm just not willing to reach out past the stand and break off those branches, but I got one good spot right here that I can shoot through. So I should have come prepared to do more cutting when I get in these trees that haven't been hunted for a while. 75 degrees. That has hurt the movement, that's for sure, but I'm closing in on them, I feel like. So today, after I got back this morning, I had a conference call for some of my work that I had to do at 10 o'clock, and then I went and pulled a couple cards out of a couple cameras and moved a cell camera, and now I'm back out here ready to hunt for the afternoon. So it's going to be hard sitting here in this heat, but man, there's a lot of deer in this area, and I've seen 4 different bucks in this area that are 3.5 years or older, so we'll see how it goes. I'll give you a look around here. On the count of 3, everybody hit the like button, the thumbs up, for good luck for me. 1, 2, 3. Hey, hey. Oh my gosh. I got one. All right, come on, quit it, man, quit it. Well, I got one. Unfortunately, I spined him. Jeepers. I might have to shoot him again. I thought my second shot was a hard shot, but I'm not sure. He's right at the base of my tree. is a 3-year-old 10-pointer. Not a giant, but it's a really nice buck, so I'm not going to complain. Alright, I'm going to get down and have a look at him. He's licking the blood off a leaf when the pot of gold is right here. I'm just sitting here waiting for John to come pick me up, and this doe won't leave me alone. I do have a doe tag, but it's a little after shooting light. She's directly downwind of me. Right there is my buck. Right there is a possum. And right there's the doe. Feel like I'm in a Disney movie or something. I picked up the video camera when he was coming down the trail. I wasn't going to shoot him, and I see that he's a 3.5-year-old 10-pointer. He's kind of busted up, and then all of a sudden I started thinking, shoot, they're calling for rain tomorrow, and there's been so little deer activity because it's been in the 70s every day, and I thought, you know what, I think it's time to punch my tag. And so I had to put the camera down, and so I didn't get the actual shot on video, but he was really close to the base of the tree, just 15 feet from the base of the tree. And when I shot him, a spine shot him, dropped him, and had to put another arrow in him. But anyway, this is representative Iowa deer, and I'm happy with him. Had a really fun hunt here, and I really appreciate John and the family, his in-laws and so forth, that have allowed me to hunt their property. And so I gotta, tomorrow we'll hang him up, and tomorrow I'll quarter him up and put him in a cooler, and I got to get him home and then get on to Kansas. And you cannot take deer's brain or spinal column into the state of Minnesota, so I'll have to get him cut up enough that I can get him in a cooler and leave the brain and the spinal column here in Iowa. But anyway, thanks for following along, and we'll see you on the next vlog. Kansas coming up. Well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning here, and I thought it would take just a minute to answer a couple of questions that I know are going to come up, as I've done this YouTube channel for a few years now. I always know that people are going to ask certain things, and so might as well answer them up front. And I'm just getting my camper ready to go here, and washing dishes and getting it ready to travel. I've got to go get 4 trail cameras out of the woods after daylight. As soon as it hits daylight this morning, I'm going to go do that. And then I also got quite a bit of little things to do before I can hunt in Kansas. I got broken arrows in my quiver and so forth that I got to get new broadheads on arrows and everything like that. So, but I know that people are going to say, you shot a 3.5-year-old 10-point buck when you've got all those big bucks around on these properties that I'm hunting. Why wouldn't you hold out 2 or 3 more days? And that's a really good question. And I guess the best way to answer that is to think about it this way. A really big buck like the ones that are on camera and are on these properties, they're really hard to kill when you got a whole season. And to think that you're going to shoot one in a week is pretty unrealistic. So, I mean, it could happen. It'd just be phenomenal if it did. But the reality is, it's just probably not. And it just doesn't make sense when you got a pretty limited time to hunt to try to target a specific buck. You know, it's been tough here the 4 days that I've been here because the weather's been hot. It's been in the 70s every day. The bucks aren't moving much. I'm hunting on a timeline, and so I just decided when that deer came by, and they're predicting rain for today, for the 5th day, and which would leave me 2 days of hunting, and I just thought, you know what, this is a good buck that anybody would be happy with. It's the kind of buck that I've killed for years and years on public land. And I literally made my living and literally wrote the book on do-it-yourself public land, traveling to other states to hunt. And this is the kind of a buck that everybody is happy with when they hunt public land in a state far from home. As you know, the 120 to 140 inch 8 and 10 pointers, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything. I shot a nice buck, so I'm happy with it, and it's good to be taken to meat home and have a rack that I can put on in the garage along with a whole bunch of others that I got that are about the same size over the years. And I'm excited to go on to Kansas, and I'm going to talk to you more about just kind of life changes that brought on what I'm doing and why I've started to lose my passion for, I guess, quote unquote, doing it the hard way. All those years of public land hunting and hoofing a stand back into areas where most people won't go, and the things that I've done over the years, and just some life changes that have happened that have caused me to sort of rethink the way I'm doing these hunts. And so I'll talk about that more in a future video. But in the meantime, I'm going to get out there, get these cameras, hook up this camper, and I'm going to put the meat, I got to quarter this deer up and put the meat in a cooler, and then I've either got to find a place to park this trailer and run that meat home, which is 6 hours each way, 12 hours of driving to get the meat home, or find a place to get it in a freezer while I hunt in Kansas. So that's one of my challenges for today. Anyway, thanks for watching this vlog, and the next vlog that you see will be the Kansas vlog. I'll start that when I arrive in Kansas, probably tomorrow morning.